Hello, everybody. This is Linda Jo Heffner, and I'm the author of Fading Mare, and this is celebration of the Navy weekend, and I'm celebrating each branch, but this is my favorite branch. Having a father, a husband, and a son in the Navy, I think I pretty much have joined the Navy. They pulled me in, they recruited me, I got drafted. But anyway, today ends the celebration, and we have others coming on this weekend, other celebration points, but today I'm really honored because I'm going to give you an interview with a Seabee, a man who was a Seabee. And most people don't know what a Seabee is. It's a brand new type of occupation in the Navy, and they don't even know how important it is because the Seabees were the backbone of the Navy. They made the Navy run. If it weren't for the Seabees, not much would be going. And I even think I'm going to learn something today about the Seabees as we go along. So we have a special guest today, and I'd like to introduce you to Gene Giunta. And he was a Seabee back during the Vietnam era. And we're going to start talking to Gene here, and I'm going to ask you a couple questions. Gene, when did you join the Navy?
Joined the Navy December 29th, 1966.
1966. That was right during Vietnam. So,
Yeah.
And what could you tell me about a little bit about why or what you enjoyed in the Navy when you did it?
I was going to get drafted. I had originally wanted to join the Airborne, went down to take my physical. I had an ingrown toenail, so they rejected me. So I dodged the draft for a while and finally got my draft notice, and my father's best friend and one of my good friends were Seabees. Father's friend was a Seabee in the Second World War, and they both couldn't say enough good things about the Seabees. So I said, well, I'll join the Seabees. I can build stuff in the States and have a cush job here at home and never have to go to Vietnam. But I was wrong.
So you went to Vietnam, and how long were you over there?
A little less than a year. The interesting thing about the Seabees is that in battalions, we go over as a group. So we rotate into country as a unit and rotate out as a unit, unlike any other branch. So we get to know each other well. The bad thing about it back during Vietnam was that if you did 13 months in Vietnam, you didn't have to go back unless you volunteered. Well, the Seabees went over for 9 to 10 months, so you could go back again. And we were scheduled to go back in August of 1969 when President Nixon started withdrawing the troops, and they sent us to Okinawa instead.
So you're going to take the stage here in a minute and tell us exactly. I don't think our audience knows exactly what a Seabee does. I mean, I had to look it up too. I just remember my husband speaking so well about the Seabees and that they were so essential to the Navy. So I'm going to turn the stage over to you. It's your show. Go ahead and tell us all about the Seabees, if you would, please.
The Seabees, the word Seabee, is originated from construction battalion, the first two letters in the words C and B, and they came up with a logo. It was designed by one of the Seabees and has been with the Seabees ever since the beginning. Seabees are civil engineers, which are the officers component of the Seabees, typically civil engineers or architects. The enlisted men were builders, which are carpenters, utility men, which were plumbers, electricians, engineering aides, steel workers, equipment operators, dozer operators, etc. And of course, my specialty, the mechanics. I was a heavy equipment mechanic while I was there.
You said you went to Vietnam and you were
We went to
survived.
Vietnam. We went to the I Corps area, which is the northernmost component of Vietnam, was broken down into different sections. And we were in Da Nang, and I went to Phu and out in the jungle were a place called Anhua. We built an airstrip. But we were there for Typhoon Bess, which was a real interesting time. It was a 3-day typhoon, and we got 17 inches of rain, and there were no ships coming in. And we lived in huts that were, well, we had plywood floors, but the sides were mesh, and we got rained on a lot. So even though it was 70 degrees, we were wearing our fatigue jackets because we were cold. An interesting time.
Yes,
but
I bet it was.
The Seabees, we did a lot of good stuff over there as well as build. We helped in communities by building orphanages and roads for cities and just a lot of community service work. So we did one of the components that people in the States probably never got privy to in the newspapers or the TV media. So we did a lot of good things. We dressed in the Navy dress uniform, and we worked in the Marine Corps fatigue uniform. So when we were out in the field working, you couldn't tell the difference between us and the Marines except for our belt. They had a beige colored belt and we had a blue belt. So that was the only difference.
I didn't know that.
I'm sorry?
I didn't know that.
Yes, it was quite interesting. The motto, "We build, we fight," is the byline of the Seabees. We've done both. Our primary job is to construct things, but in case where they need it, we would fight. We had military training, a month worth of our own training, and 2 weeks down to Camp Pendleton or Camp Lejeune with the Marine Corps every time we went overseas.
Yeah,
So,
I read that you were essentially part of the Marine Corps in a way.
well, we were part of what they called the Fleet Marine Force, and that included the Marine Corps, the Seabees, and corpsmen, and any other ancillary unit that helped the Marine Corps. So on our combat ribbons, we have a Marine Corps insignia. So in a sense, we do part of it. We never go on ships, at least we didn't back then. We flew to Vietnam on a C-141 and flew back on one of the Freedom Birds.
I explained to people what a Freedom Bird is. Some of our people wouldn't know.
Freedom Bird's a bird that takes you out of Vietnam for good. And that was one of the best experiences one can ever have in their life as that plane lifts off the ground. It was, and like I said, we went home as a unit. So our, our company was on the plane that I was on, and it was a great cheer as we left. Unfortunately, when we got to the States, we were retained on the airplane for 2 hours. President Nixon had come out to view the oil spills out in Southern California and decided he wanted a photo op with the Seabees as we returned. So I actually got to shake hands with Pat Nixon.
Ah, that's pretty neat.
It was
pretty neat. Yeah, it was a hard position to be in Vietnam, and essentially you had a pretty heavy weight on your shoulder if you were with the Marines and the Navy, keeping both of them functional.
We helped the Marines. I mean, our job was not to fight. Our job secondarily was to fight. But we manned our own machine guns. We manned our own perimeters. So we knew how to do those things. That wasn't our primary role. We were deployed all over the world. We still are. When the Vietnam War started, there were 9,500 Seabees in existence. By the time I got to Vietnam in 1968, there were over 26,000.
Oh my goodness.
So they ramped us up quite a bit. And they brought a lot of guys in as what they called NPOs. And they brought them in as guys that were trained, and they brought them in as NCO officer, non-commissioned officers in third class, second class, etc. So we had guys that had little military training with high ranks, and that was an interesting time, to say the least. So I enjoy the Seabees. I would do it again. I'm too old to do it, but I would do it if I could.
Now you also do it. You also bring your brothers together on a Facebook page. I thought that's how I found you.
I have a site called Gene's Vietnam War Storyteller, and it allows people to give their stories and experiences of their time in Vietnam. And it's also for people that were living during that time that experienced the war externally, where they weren't in Vietnam, but they were impacted by the war. I write a lot of short stories, which are therapeutic for me. They help me work through some of my issues during my time in Vietnam. And so I feel that there are other people out there that would like to do the same thing. And so I offer that to them. So yes, I enjoy that.
Yes, and I have Gene. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So every once in a while, Linda gets on there for us too, so which is good.
Yeah. So I have your Facebook page listed in the write-up, so people will be able to come to that. And I know I've enjoyed it because I've learned a lot, and I've connected with people. In fact, Gene, it was on your Facebook page that I met a man who's very essential for getting a claim done. So I appreciate it. So yeah, they're all good people, and they're all in there, and they're all kind. So
Yes.
Anyway, well, I thank you for joining us. This is
Welcome.
Navy Celebration Weekend, and Gene, you're my hero, and I thank you for joining me today.
Sure.
And folks, Navy Celebration Weekend isn't over. We still have Sundays, so if you're on YouTube, subscribe, and then you'll get a notice when the next celebration piece is on. If you're on Facebook, I'll have notices up so you can watch for it, but usually Sunday morning live is at 10 o'clock. And I do a funny story about my life with my sailor. Tomorrow's going to be about hanging pictures and the left-brained sailor. And it is funny. Is it true? Oh, absolutely true. That's the shameful part of it. Because, oh my gosh, my poor husband, when he put up with me. So, Gene, until next time, thank you for coming, everybody. Big hug, big kiss, and thank you so much. I'm honored to have you, sir. All right, I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Take care. Stay safe.